Hello and welcome to another one of my thoughts videos. In this one I'm going to share with you an exciting observation from the rash that I had September, October, November-ish. So as I said in another video, the previous one I think, that being observant is very important. As part of the scientific method is to observe, identify patterns that repeat and that can be tested to prove a hypothesis. Now this rash, no, it wasn't monkeypox, it wasn't anything else, it was just a massive detoxification process, I believe. I think, as I have said before, that the medical industry is starting to attribute a lot of quite a number of what they say are sicknesses, which are not actually sicknesses at all, but are natural processes which our body goes through. Now, during that rash, it was a very big, what provoked the toxicity, I'm not exactly sure, but it was a massive one and took a lot of getting through. Now, as part of the recuperation, I noticed, for example, observing that the what do you call them, pimples, acne pimples. I identified something like 8 different kinds, sore ones, headed ones, non-head ones, subterranean, different kinds of ones that are all doing a different job or in a similar manner. They're bringing stuff, but yucky stuff, sometimes dry, sometimes liquid, sometimes whatever, bringing it to the surface of the skin to evacuate it from our body. So it's not a huge disaster, it's a little bit unsightly with all the spots and things, but it is a good indicator of your level of toxicity within your muscles and your entire body. Now, as a teenager I had a lot of acne, and that can be exacerbated or exaggerated by the hormonal things that you're going through, particularly girls and for us guys as well. But it is a part of the process of your body growing and maturing, producing a lot of byproducts along the way that have to be excreted, and one of the very efficient ways of doing it is straight through your skin, through out your face and over your body sometimes. Now, as I was doing the curation, whatever, I was doing a lot of massaging of the skin and body to aid in the bringing out of those toxins to the skin, and blotchy patches and all those sorts of things. And according to one of my daughters had a woman in her, her class that had an allergic reaction to penicillin. She was injected with penicillin, and then lo and behold, penicillin is not really native to your body, so her body very efficiently reacted and tried to get rid of it as soon as possible out of her skin, and it took her about a year to get over that. So for me to only be almost entirely good again after only 2 or 3 months, or 3 months, is pretty good, and I attribute that to aiding that process of evacuation of toxins through your skin. Now, where as I say, the dermatologists don't know a lot, they know something, but I think they underestimate the ability of your skin, your largest organ. The largest volume of organ is your liver, but your skin as an organ is about 2 square meters or something, which is getting to be one of your biggest organs, and it is very intelligent. Now, dry skin and eczema and thick skin, keratosis, splotchy patches and all, even freckles, red freckles in older age, and even normal freckles, I believe are all signs of toxicity within your tissues below that area. So you need to pay attention to detoxing those. Now, as part of that process, that as I was cleaning out things and observing these different kinds of pimples and things and rashes and stuff, I noticed that, well, I had very blue veins. I had what they reckon were varicose veins, spider veins, and a lot of purple and blue blotchy feet and legs. And they were just saying, oh, that's old age. I don't think so, because I started to massage my feet and noticed that they sweated a lot, and that when I was massaging, a flaky sort of powder started to come off my ankles, and then I noticed that it was happening a lot more on the soles of my feet. Now, every time I did a session of massaging, and I got this little pile of dust, and it occurred to me one day, hey, it's sort of blackish, and I wonder if it's magnetic. And so I got a magnet, and yes, this powder stuck to the magnet. There's definitely magnetic stuff there in that dust. Then I thought, well, maybe I'm picking it up from the floor, that I have black sand or something like that is iron based in my house, and so I swept up and collected that, and then used a magnet to see what I could find, and it was a reasonable amount. But the second day it was not even half of that, and the third day there was practically nothing. And I went over the floor of 4 rooms of my house, the hall, kitchen, patio, with a magnet also to see what I could pick up. And by the 3rd or 4th day, I was picking up virtually nothing, way less than I was picking up from this dust off my feet. Now that indicates that in this dust is iron. Now the most logical part of your body where iron is going to come from is your blood. Your liver is very high in iron because that's where it stores iron for making blood cells and things. So I am assuming that this powder coming off my feet has to have iron. So therefore I am assuming that they are red blood cells that are coming through the soles of my feet. That is an interesting concept. I've not heard of anybody except the Bible talk about such things. And so I am considering the possibility that our body can, when it has an overload of toxicity, is storing the toxins, certain toxins, in red blood cells, and then they circulate and then get expulsed through the skin, and probably other methods as well. But the fact that my legs were growing spider veins, blue veins, purple and blue colouring in red splotches, and even varicose veins, which are now draining, and that blue is slowly disappearing, and the veins are shrinking down, and my legs are becoming like they used to 10, 20 years ago, of being a lot whiter. There's still got a way to go, but it seems to me that possibly this is one of the methods that the body might use to store toxins in red blood cells, and then store the red blood cells around the veins and in the veins. And because they're toxic, the body's not going to recycle them and just accumulates them. Now the body in the marrow makes a certain number of red blood cells, and then even if you have less iron and you're anemic, they will still make the same number of red blood cells, same count, but they'll just make them smaller. So if you are accumulating a large number of toxic red blood cells which are not being recycled, then the number of red blood cells being made new is going to be less, and I would suspect that your system is going to be less efficient about carrying oxygen, CO2 and other nutrients and things via the red blood cells, because there are less healthier ones available to do the work. At least these are some of my hypotheses according to my observation of this black dust. Now it's quite a volume by the time you collect up the dust after each session of massaging your feet, and it's quite impressive actually. So I'm now saving up. I've been doing a couple of weeks, 3 weeks now, of saving that dust to see what sort of volume and how that affects the colour and vein aspects and the well-being, I can tell you that my legs, as far as well-being goes, is really much better to what it was at least 10 years ago, maybe even 20. I'm feeling a lot better than I was last year, that's for sure. So it's a detoxification process, and an interesting observation: magnetic, or dust that sticks to a magnet coming out of your feet. Have you ever heard of that before? So have a good day, and I'll keep you updated on any other news like that.